Welcome to Roll to Hit Gaming's Impressions. In this video, we conclude our game showcase. We've gone into the box, through the rules, and out onto the table. The time has come to tell you what we thought of the game. Thank you for joining us. Let's head into the game room for your Roll to Hit Gaming Impressions host.
Welcome back. I'm Lucas from Roll to Hit Gaming, and today I'll give you my impressions of Coldwater Crown from Bellwether Games. If you're looking for an in-depth overview of this title, follow the eye in the upper right corner of your screen to check out our first look video. Before we get to my thoughts on this game, let's take one final brief look back at Coldwater Crown. Gather your tackle, load up on bait, and hit the water as a competitor in the Coldwater Crown fishing competition. Each turn, players take worker placement-like actions, trying to gain the upper hand in a series of smaller contests, all the while trying to catch the biggest lot of fish possible from 3 separate locations. Every part of the contest results in victory points, and only the player with the highest score can be declared the ultimate fisherman and the winner of the Coldwater Crown. As a kid who grew up in the South, many days were spent on the shore of some lake or river with my rod, my tackle, and my hopes and dreams. How fruitful those days were is up for debate, but what's not are the memories I have of those times. Now, all these many years later, I'm searching through Board Game Geek and come across an upcoming board game based on this old pastime. I was immediately intrigued but skeptical. Quite frankly, there are a number of games based on interests I have or have had over the years, and many of them are junk. Nonetheless, I took the plunge and pre-ordered Coldwater Crown. Thankfully, it delivered. Now, in what's essentially a worker placement and set collection game, you're going to place your angler tokens or workers to cast bait trying to catch fish, or to restock your bait and take on master angler cards to try to earn extra side victory points. Then you'll take a token from the board and perform these types of actions again. Basically, each turn you'll take 2 actions, and each one of those will directly affect the board state and the available choices for your opponents. While there's not really any take that going on here, you can definitely compete with your opponents in a smart and somewhat direct manner, which is nice given the theme. Thematically, you've entered into a giant fishing contest. The big points are going to be found in the shore, lake, and river contest, where players try to catch fish with the biggest weight in order to win those contests. But one really intriguing thing about this one is that there are multiple side contests going on at the same time. You can take those master angler cards and try to earn victory points that way. You can work towards catching 3 specific smaller species of fish, be the first to race to catch 8 different species, and a few more. All of these side contests also earn you victory points along the way, so you can really zero in on something, or you can diversify your approach. I've seen both work, and in this humble gamer's opinion, you can't have a good Eurogame unless there are multiple ways to win, and that's definitely true here. Now let's keep one foot in theme while we transition to talking more about the game mechanics. As you play Coldwater Crown, you'll notice that the game has a bit of randomness. This is evident in the draw bag for the bait and the fish cards for each of the locations. We notice that sometimes when your turn rolls around, placing or pulling angler tokens will provide you no real benefit. By this, I mean that you'll have to place tokens or pull them from spaces that don't match any of the bait colors on your player board. You'll also catch fish that may or may not be better than what you have, and the fish that are available for you to catch may not be what you're looking for. All of these things being said, if you require 0 random in your games, this one might not be for you. However, remember that I asked you to keep one foot planted in theme while we discuss these mechanics. If you've ever been fishing, then you know sometimes you won't catch what you're looking for. Sometimes all you hook are turtles and you go home hungry. Other times you'll sit on the shore all day and catch absolutely nothing. The more I considered the subject of randomness in this game in order to make this review, the more I see how, by design or not, these occurrences tie in with the theme. That being said, how do we try and mitigate a bad day at the lake? Our equipment. This is where the tackle tokens come into play. Each of them provides some way to alter the game rules. You can get rid of unwanted bait on your player board, swap bait around, and catch fish other than those in the zones that you cleared. I think understanding the proper timing of using your tackle tokens can make all the difference between a good or a bad game. Now, turns are simple and quick, which cuts the downtime which you may experience with some of your more AP-prone players, and I feel that this one scales incredibly well from 2 to 4. I think the 2-player game is well done, but a little looser than the 4-player game, simply because more spaces will be available from turn to turn. However, in my experience, 2-player games usually end up being fairly close, which is a good thing because none of us like being blown out halfway into a game. We also had 4-player games that were separated from first to last by just a few points, and we've had some end with a player pulling ahead. One thing I learned to understand that this is one of those games where the final scoring is going to change everything about how you think you're doing, for better or worse. That makes the end game process exciting and climactic, which is a really nice touch. Now, we featured the solo variant of this game on the first episode of our Adventures in Solo Gaming series, which you can check out by following the eye in the upper right corner of your screen. For me, finding a good solo game is tough. I'll openly admit that I'm not much of a solo gamer, but this one really clicked for me. The way the silent player is automated and simple and easy to understand, it just makes the game flow. Solo games check in at 30 to 40 minutes, and the silent player keeps the pressure on, and perhaps even more so than the multiplayer game, the in-game scoring is nice and tense. I really like the challenge provided by the solo version of this game. Artistically, this game is clean and visually appealing, and the graphic design is very nice, which helps you play the game. For example, the fish cards. When you catch a fish, what you're really doing is collecting a set of cards for the in-game contest at that location. And the value of each of those cards will be the weight of that fish. So let's say I catch an 11-pound pike. Is that good? You can flip it over and look back on the front side and see the range of weight for that fish, and you can use that information to help you decide if that'll be a good submission at game end, or if you need to try to catch another one, hoping for a bigger number. Now, this may be a small graphic design detail, but these are the kind of details I like to see in a game so that playing the game is smoother for the players, which can only increase the amount of fun that you have playing that game. Overall, I think Coldwater Crown is a fun, clean Euro-style game with a great theme. I find myself wanting to play it again, and unless you're against a little random in your game, or if this theme doesn't appeal to you, I think you'll find this game something that you're going to want to have in your collection. For these reasons, I'm going to give Coldwater Crown from publisher Bellwether Games a die rating of D12. I highly recommend this title. Share your experiences with Coldwater Crown with us in the comments below, and drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. I would also encourage you to surf over to our YouTube channel for more great content. You can find us on WordPress, where Brandon, our special correspondent, publishes daily news and articles about all things board gaming, and you'll find these links and more in the description box below. For Roll to Hit Gaming, I'm Lucas, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining Roll to Hit Gaming to see and hear our impressions of this game. If you liked what you saw and want to see more, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Find us on Facebook and Twitter. Join in the conversation in the comments below.